In this episode of the Joe Rogan Experience, Rogan and his guest Tony Hinchcliffe discuss various topics ranging from the comedy scene in Austin, Texas, to politics, to the current situation in Mexico. Hinchcliffe talks about his experience in the comedy scene in Austin, Texas, and how he has been enjoying the vibrant comedy community in the city. He mentions how he got a big break at the Comedy Store and how he has been receiving a lot of positive feedback from the audience. The conversation shifts to the influence of comedian Shane Gillis, who has recently moved to Austin. Rogan and Hinchcliffe discuss how Shane's presence in the city has added to the comedy scene and how he has been a great addition to the community. They talk about the abundance of comedy clubs in Austin, including Cap City, Creek in the Cave, The Vulcan, and others. They discuss how the city has become a hub for live comedy and how it has attracted comedians from all over the world. The conversation takes a turn as Rogan and Hinchcliffe discuss the recent presidential election in Mexico, where 37 candidates were assassinated during the campaign. They delve into the implications of such violence on the political landscape of the country and the challenges faced by the new president. They touch upon the influence of money and power in politics, both in Mexico and the United States, and discuss how the political system is often driven by financial interests and how this can impact the decisions made by politicians. The conversation shifts to a discussion about the funeral industry and the potential scams that can occur in funeral homes. They talk about the high costs associated with funerals and how some funeral homes may engage in unethical practices, such as mixing ashes with other substances. The topic of necrophilia in funeral homes is briefly mentioned, with Rogan sharing a story about a friend who had a suspicious encounter with a funeral home employee. They discuss the rarity of such incidents and the disturbing nature of the topic. The discussion shifts to the topic of the COVID-19 pandemic and the controversies surrounding Dr. Anthony Fauci. They highlight the inconsistencies in Fauci's statements, his involvement in funding gain-of-function research, and the potential harms of the COVID-19 vaccines. They also touch on the issue of excess deaths, vaccine mandates, and the financial interests at play in the healthcare industry. Rogan and Hinchcliffe express their skepticism towards the effectiveness of masks in preventing the spread of COVID-19, citing examples of how the virus can still be transmitted despite wearing masks. They question the narrative pushed by mainstream media outlets and government officials, emphasizing the need for transparency and accountability in public health policies. The conversation shifts towards the current political climate, with a focus on the Biden administration and the controversies surrounding it. They discuss the implications of charging political candidates with felonies and the need for accountability in government. They also explore the idea of past presidents facing scrutiny for their actions, drawing parallels between different administrations and their handling of various issues. The topic of mental health asylums and the history of lobotomies is brought up, with a discussion on the ethical implications of such procedures. They touch on the case of Rosemary Kennedy, who underwent a lobotomy arranged by her father, Joseph Kennedy, and the lasting impact it had on her life. They also explore the success rates of lobotomies and the crude methods used in the past to treat mental illness. The conversation then shifts to the effects of brain damage on individuals and how different parts of the brain can compensate for missing or damaged areas. They discuss a case where a man had fluid in his brain, which resulted in his brain being compressed into a thin layer. Despite this, the man was able to function normally, albeit with a slightly lower IQ. This leads to a discussion about the resilience and adaptability of the brain in response to injury or damage. Hinchcliffe mentions a study that shows playing 3D video games can increase gray matter in the brain. They discuss the potential benefits of playing video games, including improving cognitive function and brain health. Rogan highlights the importance of doing the work and putting in effort to excel in any activity, including playing video games. The conversation then turns to the story of a remote tribe in the Amazon that gained access to satellite internet. Initially, the internet was seen as a positive development, allowing the tribe to contact authorities for emergencies. However, concerns arose about the negative impact of the internet on the tribe, including increased exposure to outside influences and changes in behavior among the younger generation. Rogan and Hinchcliffe discuss the art of comedy and roasting, highlighting the recent success of comedy specials on platforms like Netflix. They talk about the power of comedy to bring people together and provide a form of entertainment that resonates with audiences. They also share anecdotes about roast battles and the unique chemistry between comedians during such events. Hinchcliffe shares details about a series and a movie idea that he is working on, which involve comedic elements and modern themes. They discuss the importance of creative control and finding the right platform to showcase their work, with Netflix being a potential option due to its willingness to take chances on unique content. Rogan expresses his skepticism towards awards for art, such as the Academy Awards, believing that they can distort the true value of creative work. He argues that the competitive nature of awards can overshadow the true essence of art and creativity, leading to a focus on winning rather than appreciating the art itself. The conversation delves into the challenges faced by artists and creators in navigating the demands of executives and industry standards. They discuss how network notes and executive interference can sometimes hinder the creative process and limit the artistic vision of creators. Rogan and Hinchcliffe emphasize the importance of maintaining creative freedom and pushing boundaries in art and entertainment. The conversation starts with a discussion about the TV show The Sopranos, with both Hinchcliffe and the host expressing their love for the series. They talk about the impact of The Sopranos on the TV industry and how it set the bar for future shows like Game of Thrones and Breaking Bad. The conversation then shifts to the GameStop stock situation involving Keith Gill, who made a significant profit from investing in GameStop stocks. They discuss how Gill's online persona, Roaring Kitty, played a role in the stock's surge and how his actions have sparked discussions about market manipulation and legality. Rogan brings up the comparison to financial commentators like Jim Cramer and the potential conflicts of interest that may arise when they give investment advice. They also touch upon the controversy surrounding CNBC commentator Rick Santelli and his comments about homeowners facing foreclosure during the 2008 financial crisis. This leads to a discussion about the role of financial media in shaping investor behavior and the potential conflicts of interest that may exist in the industry. The conversation then circles back to the GameStop situation and the actions taken by trading platforms like Robinhood to limit trading on certain stocks. Rogan and Hinchcliffe discuss the implications of these actions and how they have raised questions about the fairness and transparency of the stock market. The conversation delves into the potential consequences of the rise of artificial general intelligence in the near future. Rogan and Hinchcliffe speculate on how AI could revolutionize various aspects of society, from resource allocation to job automation. They ponder whether AI will view humans as creators or as a threat, given its superior intelligence and potential to outgrow human limitations. The discussion highlights the unpredictability of technological advancements, using the example of the Internet's evolution and its unintended consequences. Rogan and Hinchcliffe reflect on how the Internet has transformed human behavior, from communication to entertainment, and how AI could similarly reshape society in unforeseen ways. They emphasize the importance of considering the long-term implications of technological progress. Rogan and Hinchcliffe explore the theory that early humans may have hunted and eventually led to the extinction of Neanderthals. They discuss the possibility that Neanderthals were perceived as a threat by early humans, leading to their demise. This speculation prompts reflections on the potential parallels between past human behavior and the future interactions between humans and AI. The conversation shifts to the ages of the founding fathers of the United States at the time of the signing of the Declaration of Independence. Hinchcliffe shares details about the young age of several prominent figures, such as Alexander Hamilton and James Madison, highlighting their relative youth during this pivotal moment in history. Hinchcliffe mentions the growing popularity of Kill Tony, a comedy show that features up-and-coming comedians, and its success in attracting celebrity guests. He shares anecdotes about interactions with notable figures, such as Drake, who have expressed interest in the show. The conversation touches on the evolving landscape of comedy and entertainment in the digital age, where platforms like YouTube have enabled broader reach and engagement. Hinchcliffe discusses Bert Kreischer's comedy tour, Fully Loaded, which involves traveling on a bus with multiple comedians for extended periods. They speculate on the challenges of such tours, including potential snoring issues among the comedians. The conversation humorously explores the dynamics of sharing close quarters with fellow comedians and the experiences of touring together.